when we had gone on our first date, he was very transparent, and he said, listen, I was born and raised in Groton, and I will never leave. My family has a tree farm.
Hands in the air, let the rhythm flow. Ooh, let it flow. Together we rise, let the good vibes grow. Community conversations, yeah.
321 Media, Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. We're here with Community Conversations at Yeddo Road Tree Farm. I'm with the owners, Tom and Pantea. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing great today, Bruce. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's your season. This is your time, right?
It is. It is.
So how did you guys get into this? Tell me the little history about this.
Well, this comes from my dad's side of the family, the Ummers family, Ummers and Whittle. My grandma was a Whittle, who's part of the Whittle family, which is local as well. For the love of nature, he just started kind of planting Christmas trees on this overgrown land at the time in the 50s and 60s. It does take a Christmas tree 10 years to reach 6 feet, give or take. So started planting in the 60s, and by the 70s is when the sales started. And he established Yeddo Road Tree Farm in 1974.
Cool. So how many generations? You're the third generation?
I am the third generation.
And how did your lovely wife come to join you here?
Well, we met at UConn. Would you like to expand?
Sure. So I grew up on the West Coast. So I am from California, grew up in San Diego, went to school in LA, and then at the time when I met Tommy, I was living in Boston. And when we had gone on our first date, he was very transparent, and he said, listen, I was born and raised in Groton, and I will never leave. My family has a tree farm. And
True
it
story.
was at that moment I sort of said, okay, I'll make a concession. I'll move to Manchester, Connecticut. And slowly we ended up coming to Groton every weekend and grew a liking to this community and what it meant to be a part of it. And so we now live on the farm. We actually built our house on his grandfather's foundation, and we have 2 little rugrats that we're raising here that run havoc. So now the farm in Groton is not only where we live, it's something that we really embrace.
That's so great. Can you tell me, Tom, how it feels to carry it on, like what it means to you to be here and carry on what, the third generation?
Yeah, it's truly an honor. I went to UConn, not really having a clear path in sight. I just knew I wanted to get into business. After graduating with a finance degree, worked corporate for a year. After growing up and really living on the farm my whole life, I just realized that the corporate world wasn't for me, and this is what my dad had done full-time, second generation, so I knew that it's something that I wanted to embrace, enhance, and kind of take the reins eventually one day when my dad's ready.
And one of the things that we talked about recently was that, and you just said it before, that it takes 10 years to grow a Christmas tree 6 feet, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you can see behind us that there's ones that you guys bring in, right?
That's correct.
From Canada, maybe?
Yep. Canada, farms up north. I am on the board of the Connecticut Christmas Tree Growers Association, so we have a very big network of, growers around, the local New England area and up north.
Well, I think it's important for people to know that, that your business, it evolves, right? And so you said that people could come in and cut down every tree you have, but then you'd have no more for years to come. So you limit what gets cut, and then you help by offering the pre-cut.
That's true. The word that stands out is sustainability, right? So again, being the youngest board member on the association, the biggest problem we see is that the next generation is not taking farms over. So what farmers can do is have an amazing year, cash out, and cut every single Christmas tree. But, if you start cutting your 5 and 4 foot Christmas trees, you're not going to have anything for next year.
Right.
So if you're looking to continue something like this, it's a tough decision, but, really we have more customers than trees, so we have to supplement. And the goal is always sustainability. So my 5 and 4-year-old, my biggest hope is that they take this over in 1 year. And the goal is to keep it going as the best we can.
Well, and we looked inside. You guys have the garage that's turned into a store, and I think what's so impressive about it is that we can talk about the community, but you give back to the community and what you offer in your store. And there are you can talk about a number of the different offerings and organizations that you work with to bring their product in here to sell.
That's true. So we named it Dina's Shop, and I'm going to let my wife expand on this because
right.
that was actually, very
Sure.
good.
So Tommy's mom is Dina, and when Tommy was 5 years old, she passed away at 38 of breast cancer. And for many years, the shop has always just been called the shop. And someone asked me, well, what is it called? And, through a process of conversations, we decided on Dina's Shop because she was the kindest soul and had such big visions of what this could be, and more than anything, the experience. So I sort of took that undertaking of how could I edify her, how could I project her vision, and almost in a way of like, it's like Japan, when you can't go out, you got to go up. We have to take the space and rework with it. And simultaneously, when we were making the changes, it was COVID. So it was a kind of a weird time on top of a weird time for us. And so it kind of challenged us to figure out what we could do in terms of restructure the shape of it. But a lot of people were home. They were doing remote work, and people were crafting. And our Tommy's Aunt Julie, she goes to the local church and knows so many people through craft shows, and she essentially sort of became like our shop, like the consignment, if you will, like the connector. She was the glue. She helped bring people together. So we have people that sell items that they make, and it does help. From firefighters to local teachers to people that are at the Transitional Academy, and it's just beautiful. It's before you walked into the shop and you just turned right and there's a few things and you checked out. Now we take credit card. And now it's just, things have changed so much. And I think that's the biggest, going back to what Tommy was saying, the biggest kind of, or the saddest thing that we continue to see is farms are going out of business. You have Amazon that's buying them, right? It's a really, really hard job, and we want to be able to offer more of an experience here and continue it from years on. And a big part of that, in order for us to grow, we have to give back. And it starts with the people that are in there. Very few people that actually work in the shop are related to us by blood. And I always say we're connected by love, right? It's our chosen family, and it's an incredible village that we have, because this, just what you see here, and we're not even open quite yet, not till Friday for opening day, is such a massive undertaking. But we're very, very proud of all the people that are here and the ways we're able to give back. We partnered up with the town of Groton Human Services. So we do have a couple trees that have adopt-a-family ornaments for local children, and they're all vetted by the town. We donate our wreaths to to Academy Point, which is the nursing home, so that they can decorate. We do wreaths and donate them to Always Home. I'm on the board of Always Home. So we do what we can to be able to give back as much as we can.
Well, it's clear, like that's where your heart is, and I think that also when you guys are relatively young, and you're taking over the business, and can you just maybe talk a little bit just what your biggest challenges have been and what you've learned along the way?
That's a really good question.
It's a big sigh.
It is.
Because I get to think
really
about it, right?
Like,
It's
sure.
Pante always has this saying that really stands out to me, is you give where you live. That's really stuck with me. And we have this amazing platform. So we own a painting business as well, so we meet with people throughout the year, and having a place like this where families come and they gather, and Christmas is full of joy and cheer for most, and for some it's a very challenging time of year. Expenses, the economy, different things. So we just want to do everything we can to give back. So the Adopt-a-Family program for kids or parents that can't afford gifts, if we have people that are willing to give, why not use all of our resources available to give back? And it's just such a wonderful feeling to be able to do what we can. Yeah,
it sounds to me like if I'm hearing you right, the lessons that you've learned and what sticks out is that community and family are super important, and that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, and where everything it seems like you're doing kind of revolves around those things.
Right. I have a very big extended family, but both of us were raised by single parents. So I was raised by my grandparents. My mom passed when I was young. So our kids don't have any aunts and uncles, but everybody's an aunt and uncle. And this place is just so amazing to have people come up and you know, just work and whether it's blood or not, we're family.
Yeah. So I know you went to Fitch, right?
I did.
And so you grew up here. So where's your go-to places around here? If you're going to go to eat somewhere, if you're going to go do something, have some fun, where do you go?
Well, if you stop by Engine Room, we just dropped off a
That
14-foot
beautiful
Christmas
tree,
we
yep.
helped stand up. Herrings Marine as well. We actually did a collab with Outer Light Brewing this year. So
Awesome.
they made a beer representing our tree farm, and I actually put a 4-foot Christmas tree in the tank.
Nice.
This year.
Oh, is that right?
I did, yeah. And I got a little sample, and it's very piney. It's wonderful West Coast
What is it
IPA.
called?
It's called Yetter Watch Out. So
Very
Kurt-
witty.
Kurt will be doing 4-ounce samples up here opening day on Friday, and then it opens for sale on Saturday at Outer Light.
Okay. And they did a whole run of it, right? Like
They did, yes.
probably like 50 cases or somewhere around there.
I'm not exactly sure, but
But-
I know it is going out to quite a few local
That's
bars
awesome.
around town.
That's awesome. And then I think I know the answer to this, but you know, if we're going to tell the community who sees this how they can support you guys, what do you need from the community right now?
Sure. I think if I had one sort of would be understanding and compassion, because we are a boutique tree farm. And, you know, around us you have Gears and Maple Lanes, and they have hundreds and hundreds of acres of farms, but we are a smaller operation, and we love that. You know, we have people come here from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, and we want to be able to offer something for everyone. So I think for the communities to understand that even when our field is closed, we still have the pre-cut trees available that are beautiful. We're open every single day up to Christmas Eve. So supporting just the local, the people within our community that sell the handmade ornaments, that makes a difference. And beyond the trees, we have the hot cocoa on weekends, which we've never had
Yeah.
before, to wreaths and centerpieces. So there's a lot more of the operation than it is just trees. And the compassion side is just the patience and the understanding that we are a smaller operation, so there might be lines. We are in a residential neighborhood, so there is some challenges with parking, so we always encourage carpooling, and during the week is always far more calm. So for strategic
Yeah.
planning, come during the week. It's like this
Yeah.
for it.
Oh, that's great. So here's the thing: you guys own a tree farm, right? Obviously. Give us the best advice about like what nobody knows about keeping our tree fresh. Like what's your go-to? If I buy a tree, and say it's pre-cut or we cut it down, and I'm going to bring it home, what do I need to do to make sure that it lives for as long as we need it to live?
Right. So when a tree is cut, that is unfortunately the point of no
Right,
return. It will
right.
die eventually.
So living is
So
not a
there
good way to
is-
say it. Stay
So
green.
There are, there's many tips.
Yeah.
Some are avoidable, some are not. So for example, keeping your tree away from a heat source,
Mm-hmm.
baseboard heater, fireplace, that is going to dry your tree out the quickest. But if you do
Mm-hmm. so the
have it
tree in
next-
front of my stove is the reason, like
What?
yeah,
know,
no,
we-
I'm just
we
thinking
have-
about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course, like,
we have people every year that keep it next to a fire, ensure the tree's a little dry by Christmas time, but
Yeah.
it holds up.
okay,
So definitely keeping water in it.
yeah,
We do a fresh cut on the bottom, so cutting off a 1/2 inch of the stump, because the tree, it is a living being, right? So if you picture if you cut your hand or something, your blood will clot eventually, and that's what the tree does. So when you put a fresh cut on the bottom, the sap is fresh, allows water to pass through. So after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, the sap kind of creates a scab. And what that does is it seals the moisture in to keep the tree, have moisture in it, but it won't allow water to pass through. So you have to make sure that the stump is fresh,
Okay.
fresh cut before
And
putting it in water.
What about like the tree like the stuff you add to the water? Is that
Yep. So we sell what's called Forest Fresh. We hear stories every year. Some people put aspirin in the water, boiling water, cold water. But the goal is to really just, the Forest Fresh tablets keep the sap from gelling up.
okay?
So, sometimes you just can't avoid it, but you want to just get it in water right away, and then the tablets will help keeping the sap from hardening up on the bottom.
All right, sweet. Well, I want to thank you guys both for doing Community Conversations. I'm Bruce Flax, president of the Greater Mystic Chamber. 321 Media and the Greater Mystic Chamber say thank you very much. Have a great holiday.